Starting on happy holidays, man.
Oh,
it's that time of the year.
Damn.
It's that time of the year.
It's that time, dude.
Thanksgiving.
How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good as it could be, you know?
Yeah.
Family, food, football.
Man.
There were some good football games.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
How'd your team do this year? Who's your team anyway? Who you
Raider Nation, brother.
Raider Nation. Oh, brother.
Hey.
I'm gonna sit next to an arch rival, bro. Like Niner gang here.
Yeah.
What?
Not anymore, man. No more. They took the Battle of the Bay away from us.
Very true. You know what? I ain't gonna lie.
It is still an amped up game. We play in New Year's Eve.
That's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
In Vegas.
Right. And I'm glad you guys got the W this past week, bro. You guys did that.
Much needed.
It helped us too, man.
Yeah. Oh, right. Seahawks. Right.
My boy calls them the Seahawks.
The Seahawks?
Yeah. Okay. But now it kind of solidified our first place position.
I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? So, but, you know, we got a ways to go.
Have you guys lost since getting McCaffrey? You haven't, huh?
I don't know. It's been like 3 games, maybe.
3 games?
2 or 3 games.
I
think we won the last.
We won all 3?
Been close. We won last week and we won this week, right? So
the guy can ball, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, they definitely. Yeah. We got some weapons on the team. You know, I don't want to get into it because, like, I'm a fan, but I've been watching as closely as I should be. But yeah, we definitely, you know, Debo and all those guys on there, Kittle. But the Raiders, you know, you guys look pretty good last week, to be honest. Like, I'm a Carr fan. You know, I like Carr, so I root for him. And just as how emotional he gets, just, you know, I appreciate.
You know what? Yeah, that's true.
You know, he's
he
Fresno
does.
State.
Yeah, absolutely. And Devontae Adams, Fresno State. You know, they
reconnected
there. A lot of talent, man. There's just a lot. I think that's all locker room, man. All the issues they're having, it's got to be in the locker room, man. Because on paper,
right, they're loaded.
I'm not understanding the record on paper.
Right.
I'm not understanding the record, and I think a lot of Raider fans are. Well, even if you're just a football fan,
right,
you were expecting a lot more out of this team than what you're getting.
Yeah,
you know.
And it could be, you know, in the first year in Vegas, you know, it's a lot of difference. They got jail, they got a new stadium, new area, new everything. I think it's just a matter of just getting adjusted to everything. Again, I am not the biggest sports person to listen to, so don't take my advice. But based on just my observation from the games I did see, you know, it just seems like it'll come together. You
know what, man? On that sports analyst talk, man,
what you got?
If we were to really fact check a lot of these guys that make statements that are on ESPN and say things, they're probably not the best people to listen to either about sports, man. They're awful. Sometimes you hear some of their takes, you go through the season, and you're like, damn, how did that guy get a job?
Really?
If I failed that bad at my job, I've been fired.
Right? Right. Give me some examples, because you're more into it than I am. But so tell me what you've seen and know.
Oh man, like last year there were so many analysts, basketball analysts, that were like, "Hey, what are the odds? What are the chances Steph Curry gets another ring before he retires with all the injuries and the season that the Warriors were just coming off of?"
Yeah,
and a lot of them were saying zero. They even did this like on national TV, like doing one of this, and they won last year.
Right,
they killed it. They beat Boston Celtics, very very strong young team. Beat them.
Yeah.
6 games at home. Yeah. Beat them at home.
Very true.
So it's like, how can you be that? Or people talking about the Bengals. One guy was like, hey, I can't remember his name. Hey, this is the team. If they get this together, boom, don't be surprised if they go far. Made it to the Super Bowl. Everybody else was looking at that dude like he was speaking another language. Sports analyst. Yes. So, hey, you talk about your Niners, brother. It's all good.
Right.
These guys on ESPN don't even know what's going on.
Man. I mean, I guess so, right? It's like, you know, my guess is just as good as the next man's, I guess. But, you know, I just don't get the big dollars they're making, you know.
That's right.
Other than that, I can have an opinion, and you can argue with that. So,
that's right.
So go Niners. That's all.
And yeah.
Go Raiders.
And nobody understands the strength either.
Sure.
Of somebody's like mental, man. Sure. Some of these guys, they might lock in, and they might hear all these sports analysts and say, you know, not this year. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna prove them right. A lot of us in our field might look at and listen to all this noise about how we're gonna have the worst year in production. Interest rates are high. Nobody's going to buy. What are you going to do for 100%. A job? We might be listening to this stuff, and some of us, you know, we prove them right. Some of us don't. Some of us are like, hey, man, you've managed to measure every single thing except my will. And boom. And then that's when it happens. Like, how the hell is he doing the same amount he did last year with these crazy interest rates? Prices are high.
Right.
How are they still? What do you people are buying? You know,
that
what I mean?
Just tells me no one has control of only you can control what's going to happen in your life, what goals you're going to succeed, what you're going to accomplish, this and that. There's always going to be talk out there, man. That just applies, you can look at the weatherman, old school weatherman, they'll say something and then some weathermen, a lot of them don't get it right. It's going to rain 100%, then it's sunny. So only thing you can control is what you can do in your life. You can't worry about what other people say. Everyone has opinions, right? But only you can kind of dictate the direction that you're going to go in to put you in the best position to succeed, and just whatever it is. So that's kind of my little 2 cents on that,
Hey, man.
And like you said, just like people are talking about interest rates, right? Oh man, or the market is crazy. It's going to go to 10% interest rates. We're going to go a deep recession. It's going to be ugly. Boom, boom, boom. No one's going to buy. We are in December, well, as of tomorrow.
But
what are rates looking like?
Dude, look, whatever you were hearing 3 months ago, 2 months ago, we're far from that.
Yeah.
And I can leave it right there and just say we're far from that and let people take from that. Well, what does he mean? Far from it higher? Far from it lower? Like, what does he mean? Right.
Yeah.
But a lot of this information, you hear it from one source and everyone, jumps on it and bites and like, boom, I'm out. Right. Now they don't care about what Rich has to say. They don't care what Mark has to say because they've already read one article that says, this is a terrible year to buy. The entire year has already been plotted out somehow by some of these analysts that say the entire year, don't buy.
And the people that only watch one source all the time are the ones that, what I've found, either never really end up doing anything anyway. And on the flip side, they're missing out off of so much opportunity. A lot of times they get left behind because they're only watching one source. You gotta look around. You gotta look at different sources to make your own opinion.
Right.
I'm sorry, I cut you off though.
Yeah, no, and that's just the way that it goes, So some people may lay out for the rest of the year, and then people get out and don't really see what is happening right in front of them.
Yep.
3 weeks ago we had probably the largest drop in mortgage rates in one single day.
Wow.
In history.
So
today again we had a huge drop in interest rates again.
Where are we at today, man? Where are we sitting?
You know what, man?
We're not like 7.5%, 8% right now.
Hell no way. Not even. I mean, you might even get less than that on an investment property, and investment properties are traditionally, at least a percentage point higher than primary homes. So
that's what everybody was saying a couple months ago. It's going to be 8% in December.
Hey, man, 9%. We're creeping back towards 5. And we might be like at 6.25 right now.
Whoa.
I haven't done all the pricing since there's 2 pricing adjustments per day. When the market opens in the morning, you're going to see the pricing and the interest rates change from the previous day. Okay. And this is Monday through Friday. Right? Monday through Friday, when the markets are open, they're always going to move as far as what interest rates are available and what type of credit or what amount of lender credit that you're going to be getting for that interest rate.
Okay.
That moves Monday through Friday. There's typically 2 pricing adjustments per day, one in the morning, right when the market opens, and then one in the afternoon when the market closes.
Gotcha.
I have not priced much after the market closed because of, at the time of this recording, but monitoring the news, and anything coming out, any big changes, I honestly don't see a reason for the big drop, but it's here nonetheless. And you got to report that to your clients that, hey, we might be saving ourselves, $80, $90 more a month on our mortgage. We might be saving ourselves $2,500 lower in closing costs. Wow. If we lock right now compared to 4 hours ago.
One piece of data that did come out today, I don't know if it was, they based the reason rates are lower is because ADT did report the jobs number of, and our job creation number, right? So I think I can't remember, last reading was around 200 or something. I think today it came in 127-ish jobs created, which is low, but that's a good thing. That's something the Fed would like to hear. So that's good, because now it's saying, okay, what we're doing right now, as far as it's kind of working, we want to kill some jobs, we want people have to get laid, unfortunately, to fight off the inflation. Right. And that's the reason the Fed rate is being raised, even though the mortgage rates and Fed funds rate are not correlated, not direct much at all, very minimal, but the 10-year, it affects the 10-year, which is more closely too. So
everything is.
I think it all kind of works.
Everything is intertwined. It's a big puzzle.
They're cousins, or they're not brothers or sisters, but they're cousins. or a stepbrother.
Yeah. You move one piece of the puzzle, and the entire thing is going to shift. It's like a jigsaw puzzle.
Exactly.
So that's the way it all works. Nothing really directly affects, or at least those two. Those two don't directly correspond to each other.
Yeah.
If one goes up, it doesn't correlate to the other going up. Right. In comparison, but a lot of times there are so many variables that go into it that these will be considered one of the variables that determines that. So you will see some movement. You're going to see movement every day, right? But some of these data points that come out are going to affect that movement more than others.
Right, exactly. So I'm thinking, that could have been some of the reason for the low. But that's a beautiful thing for buyers, man. Absolutely. Like, sheesh. And also, I think I've seen a little bit, but you as a lender, you've seen more buyers putting in applications as well the last week and a half or so.
Absolutely,
right? Yeah. More activity. So the market is people who just listen to the doomsday real estate, content out there. You guys are missing out because there's opportunity in every market, man. Opportunity, it don't matter what type of market. It's just you just got to find the deals. It may take longer. It might take writing a lot more offers, but if you are looking for good deals, they're still out there. It's just a matter of going after them. And this market is better than 100% better than the last market we left to get a good deal. You know what I mean?
That was awful. That market was awful.
You couldn't get a deal. You could not get a deal. You had to overpay, and you're competing with 30, 40 other people.
And even overpaying didn't do it.
Overpaying wasn't good enough. I don't know how many times I put in offers for these one clients in particular. They had a little bit of cash. We're putting like 20K over the list price. We're putting like 15K on top of that in case it didn't appraise, right? And still was getting just blown out the water. Yeah. It just really, So this market right here, guys, I would say, I just encourage everybody to listen to more than just one, podcast, one piece of content on real estate. Don't just watch what we do and what we say. Watch others. Develop your own opinion. Get some real information. That's it.
And just watch professionals in general, man. I mean, a lot of times you hear it from your dad's coworker or your aunt, your mom's sister or something.
Bunch of naysay.
You got to listen to the professionals. I mean. And don't get me wrong, you got to vet them too.
For sure.
You always got to think, be a little skeptical. Is there some, hidden agenda? Why are they telling me this? Are they trying to get me to buy something? Are they trying to steer me the wrong way? Look at it that way, man. What kind of motive do these people have to push me in the wrong direction? If there's no motive on their end to do so, you should probably, give it a listen. Don't listen to everything that they say word for word and not do any research. But if there's zero motive for them to push you the right or wrong way, what reason do they have to lie to you?
Right. Just listen to it and then develop your own, but just do your research. And you said it right, bro. It's unfortunate. Like the closest people to us, most of the time, if not all the times, are the ones who kill dreams. They kill everything you think you want to do. Even though you might be headed down the right path and you get a family member, you can't do that, or you shouldn't do this. And 9 times out of 10, or most of the time, they're just speaking on their own experiences and fears because they've never done it or went through it. So they're just going off of pretty much how they feel and what they see with limited information, real information, and just spewing out wrong information at the end of the day. And it's really hurting you. So just
I'm going to shift this a little bit.
Yeah, sure. Hey, we're live here, man. We do everything. Just we do this on the spur of the moment. Another thing, bro. This wasn't on something that we had probably in our notes, but I just want to drop this on you because I had a discussion last week with a fellow a broker. Let me ask you your opinion. What's more important in your opinion to buyers when they're buying a house? Is it the price of the house or is it the interest rate?
I don't know what the actual data would show, but from my conversations with buyers, it seems to me right now that more people are concerned with the interest rate.
Okay.
Now, should that necessarily be the reason? No, I don't think so, but it does seem to me that is the leading reason because we are seeing home prices come down or at least stay stagnant. At the very least, they're stagnant, right? They're not continuing to rise. We're not seeing all these homes going further and further and further, offers over list price. We're not seeing that, right? So we're not seeing that push to the upward. But still buyers are on the fence. There's a lot of pent up buyers right now. There's a lot of them that have decided that it is not my market to buy in. I'm going to sit on the side.
Yeah.
Well, if the home prices are not going up staying stagnant, or even price reductions.
Mhm.
Those are happening. That is happening.
100%.
And buyers are still on the sidelines. So it cannot be the home prices that's deterring them from jumping in.
Right.
It's this interest rate. It's
Right.
the scary interest rate, the
Right.
5, the 6. They saw 7s at one point. They probably still think it's 7s.
Mhm.
And they probably don't think that too much can happen over the course of 1 month. And they've effectively removed themselves from all potential opportunities that come
Sure.
up just because they saw 7 at one
Now,
time. I'm thinking that it's
yeah.
the interest rates that are bothering people more.
Okay, great. But what they were saying too is that, say the price really drastically reduced, right? Say the average price we're looking at 250,
Mhm.
right? Say they were low,
No.
still 7%. Is that going to make a difference in your opinion? According to this person, once it drops enough, that's going to bring buyers out. The rates don't matter. But I kind of had a different. I kind of was kind of along the lines of what you were saying, but I just kind of want to bring it out to what your thoughts.
Yeah. And again, I don't know what a survey or what data would tell you, but from
Mhm.
my personal experience, all of my questions that I get are about the interest
Interest
rate.
rate.
They're never about cost of the home. They're
Right.
never
It's all
about
the monthly. They just want to know what that monthly
and what's
payment's going to be.
and what affects your payment more is the amount of interest that you're paying on that loan.
So you're saying the interest rate affects your payment more than the price?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I would rather take now, if it were up to me, if I could, pick and choose how I'm going to structure my mortgage here,
Right.
I would rather pay the 300,000 that they're asking for it and instead get a 5% instead of a 6%,
Gotcha.
rather than pay 6% and get 15 grand off.
Sure.
100%.
Because their scenario they were giving, like, okay, well, would you buy $1 million house now in this market, even though that could be super inflated, right? But if the interest was 1%, would you buy a house like that overpriced with a low interest rate, or would you buy a house a lot cheaper with a higher rate, or get a house undervalued, market value, but you're paying much higher rate?
I don't think it's fair to look at it that way. I don't think it's fair to look at it that way at all.
Well, I think their mentality, I think they're thinking of their whole idea of buying a house, I think, is just benefiting off appreciation. That I think that they're just looking at that. They're not looking at the monthly payment.
Right.
They're like, okay, if I get a house, it's all about it going up in value and me benefiting off of it, appreciating over time. That's why, this is, like I said, this is just somebody else's opinion, and I'm just listening and just discussing it now. But I think that's what it is like, they don't mind paying high if they know that the house, they got a good deal on it.
Okay. So maybe I would have to hear, because it sounds like they're willing to pay. They're willing to overpay for a home, is what it sounded like. They're willing to overpay.
No, they don't want to overpay. That's the thing. They're willing to take a higher interest rate, but getting a good discount. So if they can get a house really cheap, they're fine with a 7 or even maybe 8%.
Okay.
You see what I mean? Like, getting the house 20,000 less or 15,000 less than it's worth, but with a higher interest rate.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's the interest rates that are driving people. Right. So even if prices come down, if the interest rates are higher, I still think that the buyers are going to be focused on that interest rate. They're not going to worry at all.
That's what I feel too.
Right.
This other person felt the other way. Like,
the prices were going to
price, like, according to them, interest rates doesn't matter.
No,
it's never about the interest rate. It's only price.
It's all about the interest rate.
And that's what I was saying. That's what I felt too, but I'm just, I'll just.
Yeah. I mean, because in that example you gave me right now, would you buy $1 million home in this market?
Overpriced, say it's worth only 700, 800.
Absolutely.
But the rate you're going to get is 1%.
Yeah. You're in the red. You're in the red from an investor standpoint,
rate.
From an appreciation standpoint. From every standpoint, you're in the red.
You're in the red.
You are in the red.
You're in the red. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's there's a wrong way to look at it.
Unless I think there's no clear cut out the answer for every scenario, right? I think everything is depending on the situation. So I think if there's a person in this market, who's looking for like $1 million house, bro, oh wow, but my payment is only going to be this, which I can afford, is only 1% interest, and I can live in this $1 million house. Yeah, it's 200,000 overvalued, but it's a beautiful house. I love it. I don't plan on ever moving, at least within the next 10 years or more, and this payment works. That might be a different conversation to somebody, right?
Maybe
a forever home, 10, 15 years from now, hey, that they might catch up to the But it's
so I don't imagine that it would take much. So in that exact scenario, if they did see it through that lens, if we have $1 million home and they know that it's worth 7, like you had said, it's worth 7, $1 million home, is what they're going to buy it for, but it's only a 1% interest rate. So you're not paying a whole lot of interest to the bank. But you are overpaying for that house. So in 10 years, maybe that thing is worth $850.
Right.
You bought it for $1 million. You're still in the red, 150 grand. Let's take all the interest that you would not have paid in a higher interest rate, and let's add that 150 negative to what you have paid. And I guarantee you that it's going to be a lot closer. So the interest that you pay on a 1% loan, what is that amount over 10 years? And then add 150 grand to it, because you're still down 150 in value.
Right.
Or buy it for 700 and then take 10 years of interest rate if you bought it at what it actually is, and then subtract the 150 that it's now.
Kind of lost me.
Okay, so
just a little bit.
And here's
you gotta slow it down. It's
so,
for the listeners too.
Right. So and this happens often. Whenever I speak to clients, they and I don't know what it is. It's almost like they are like adamant about trying to find the kink in the system.
Right. People think there's always a little, there's a deal, there's something.
So in that scenario you told me, they buy $1 million, even though it's only worth 700, but they're only paying 1% on it.
Right.
They think they got a deal, right? They think they got a deal. They're never gonna get out of that loan,
right?
Because there's no reason.
There's
no reason to touch that loan. So they bought this at $1 million. They're already down 300 grand,
right?
Because it's not even worth it
already,
right?
Already.
So in 10 years, you're making a payment on this home at 1% interest rate. So you're saving so much in interest.
Right.
But you got to remember that you're down 300,000 no matter what.
Right.
You go and sell that thing, you're in the red.
You're in the red.
They're going to say, hey man, we're going to sell this to this buyer over here, but you owe us 300
right
grand.
You're bringing money.
You go to sell it tomorrow, you're bringing money.
Bring cash to the table. Yeah.
Let's just say in 10 years, like that scenario you just gave me,
maybe
it's now worth 850, right? Well, we paid $1 million for it, so we're still 150,000 down.
Sure.
Okay. In 10 years on a 1% loan, how much did we pay in interest?
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
And then we subtract, and then we add 150 to that amount that we paid, because we're still down.
We're still down to 150. Right.
So when we add the interest we paid,
yeah,
which is fantastic, 1%,
paying a lot off.
Then you add 150,000 because we're still down.
Sure.
What is that? What is that number versus buying it at 7% at a 6% interest rate? Now you don't have to add shit, right?
Right.
You're just going to take whatever the interest is over the 10 years, whatever that 6% interest is. What is that number? And then when you find that number, you subtract 150 from it, because you've gained 150 over here in appreciation. You paid 700, it's worth 850. There's 150 grand right there. How much have you paid in interest? Subtract it, because now you gain value over here.
Right.
So when you look at it, pure mathematics, no, you fucked up.
Right.
You should not have paid for just because of the lower interest rate.
It still doesn't pan out.
And to be honest, that is what was happening 2 years ago.
Literally, we just left that market.
Exactly what was happening.
Overpaying, right?
They were overpaying because the cost to borrow the money was so cheap.
Yeah.
Forget it. I'll pay over.
And there was a surplus of money in the economy. People were stimulus. It was a bunch of money.
Yeah. And have those prices come down. Yeah. I mean, just think about the very last person. I don't know who that is in Fresno alone. The very last person that overpaid for a property before the market shifted.
Well, and I'm sorry, we got
technical difficulties.
It's live, but we doesn't know how to do it.
Just think about the very last person. So the very last transaction.
September purchases.
Maybe maybe somebody at the end of August paid $20,000 over, which is not unheard of in the previous market.
Right.
Maybe they paid $20,000 over. The interest rates were at a level where buyers were like, hell no. Okay. So homes were sitting on the market longer than they needed to. They overpaid by 20 grand. Prices started coming down. Right. So now not only are they asked out that 20 grand that they came out, now the value of the home that they bought is down.
Right.
And the interest that they're paying is high.
Right.
So somebody at the back end of last market is not sitting in a pretty position.
Not good. Yeah.
They're not sitting in a pretty position. Right. And that's just the way of the world.
But to the point though, hopefully they bought for long-term purposes.
Timeline is going to determine all.
So yeah, it's a matter of time. So again, people get all in their head and caught up about a house they own and live in, and like, oh, values are down. Oh my gosh, what? Who cares? This is not stocks, people. Like, if you don't plan on moving, right? You plan on staying in your home. Who cares that time period, what your value is at the time? It's good to know, but if you're not going to refi or sell, it really doesn't matter, because time is going to correct itself over time, right? Just stay there longer. Boom! Before you know it, it'll gain equity, and you'll be back in the red or black. I'm sorry, in the black. So That's just.
Yeah.
Oh, look at it. Yeah.
Hey, can you hit that record button, bro? Because I forgot to do it
Oh,
again.
for sure. Yeah, we live. See, we just everything.
There it is.
Good to go.
Yeah.
On another note, man, you got something else you were going to add to that, or
no, that kind of threw me off there. Like somebody had a, and I really like that, and to be honest, that's my thing, man. That is like my bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird, but I enjoy breaking these things down on a map because I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, okay. So in that scenario, somebody paid $300,000 more than they should have.
Yeah.
But they borrowed the money for way cheaper than anybody can this day.
Sure.
Where's that break-even point?
Right.
Maybe if they would have offered 900 or 875 for that,
for sure.
Maybe now it makes sense. I want to know that number.
Yeah.
I like the mathematics like that because they don't lie to you. There's no emotion when you throw these numbers into a spreadsheet. There's no, well, I feel this is going to happen or this is my opinion. No, these numbers are numbers and they're going to add, right. They don't lie. They're going to tell you what the story is. So I'm kind of nerdy in that aspect, man. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love that. I love it. You're better, of course, on the numbers and doing the loan part, but I love that as well. I'm a big data freak.
I just like that people are thinking that way. Period.
Yeah,
they're trying to find solutions. You mean you can't, if somebody really thought that was the better way to do, they really just trying to find solutions to this market, and you have to be able to do that.
You have to
be able to pivot.
You got it.
Any market.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Look at all options. Look at all the options you have. Look at different ways. Because I mean, you just got to have mostly like an investor-minded mentality, really.
That's exactly what that is.
Yeah, even as a home buyer, you kind of want to be an investor-minded mentality and learn a lot about it. That's why sitting with the loan officer, regardless of who it is, right away, even if you're planning to buy, even if you're not planning to buy for months, just talk to the loan officer, learn more, and then you could figure out, you could run scenarios. Then when it's time, you'll be educated. You'll know, like, okay, this is what I want to do. You'll just get more educated on the whole process, which we were talking about earlier about putting a little. You know what I just thought of? I know you talked about maybe doing like a little course for like video, but I'm thinking like a course just overall, anybody interested in learning some real estate, whether it's investments or just structuring deals, just learning what options they may have if they're looking at investment property or just anything in general, just how to analyze it, right? How to sit back and remove your emotions from everything and look at numbers. So I think something we could talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Be helpful to people.
That would be helpful. Yeah, that would have been helpful to me when I started.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. Have a resource to go to. Let's switch gears a little bit, my man. We don't have a long show today, people, unfortunately, but we're gonna get you some good stuff. I had a couple things I was gonna just throw out, but if you got something, what you got? Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing, brother. What are you saying? I mean, I got some things here, but
yeah. I mean, I got a bunch of topics, bro. Where do I want to go with it?
Yeah, I'm looking at mine. I'm trying to see how I can squeeze it in, but
yeah, I definitely want to talk about this. Let's talk about cancel culture real quick. Cancel culture. I don't know if are you familiar with that topic, what that is? Cancel culture. It's been around for the last couple of years, thrown around.
Yeah, I feel like it's thrown around a lot.
All it is when people get they cancel people.
Okay.
Like who was the latest? Like Kanye. I don't know. They try to cancel Kanye. Who got canceled? But you know how a lot of times celebrities, they'll go out and say something that maybe against the quote unquote norm, and then now everybody's like, oh, he's canceled, blah blah blah. What's your take on it? I think it's bullshit, but what do you say? And I'll get into explain why I think it's bullshit, but go ahead. You have an idea.
So I guess for me, I don't really take like what you hear or see or read about celebrities for one, man. I have like the most distant relationship possible with celebrities. Like to me, I don't even like that term. Like the difference between me and them is that they have more exposure. I mean, they
some
not necessarily
more money, but that doesn't,
more money because they have more exposure. But some of them rightfully so are more known than me because I can't dunk a basketball or, so, I get it, but really all of that exposure comes from us. If we decided we didn't want to give that exposure, we decided we didn't put that much value on being able to do, score a triple double every night.
Right.
If we didn't put that value there, they would be no different than me, probably even less known than me, or something,
Right.
So I don't really put too much on that, but the idea and the concept that everybody can rally together and shut somebody down,
right. That's exactly what I was.
is
Like Andrew
is
Tate.
con-
Andrew Tate was
dude,
okay. Well,
man,
go ahead.
Andrew Tate,
Yeah, he was canceled.
that kind of, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that kind of stuff right there, and it's personal opinion.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
man, they're hurting society by canceling people like Andrew Tate. One, you're showing that no, you can't say and do what you want. Whether you're engaging in criminal behavior or not, you can't say it.
Right.
Which is, whatever.
Right.
Different opinions on that stuff.
Right.
But two, they're deciding what we get to hear and see. And if that's not a clear indication that, the news channels that you hear and listen to are not filtered to tell you that maybe the truth or the whole truth, then I don't know what is. I mean, that's perfect evidence. Perfect. Yeah, nobody cares about Andrew Tate or Kanye West. That's just a rapper, or Andrew Tate. That's just some social media influencer.
Right.
But nobody's canceling these media companies that are doing the same. What are they doing different? They're providing an opinion that you may or may not agree with.
Yeah.
That is the same thing that these other people are doing, providing opinions that you may or may not believe in, or you may or may not agree with. But somehow they're allowed to be canceled, where other companies and organizations are not. That's a problem. I understand that's a problem. 100%. So Andrew Tate, I'm just going to say this real quick. I love the guy.
Okay.
Andrew Tate,
hate him, I love him.
Love the guy.
Here's my deal. The issue I have with cancel culture is that it's like we starting to live in a society to where people aren't giving people the opportunity to grow and to learn from, if it is a mistake that they said, right? So we're saying now we don't give people opportunity to learn from their mistakes and grow and to move on and be a better person. Isn't that what life's about, right? It's like no one's perfect. Everybody who's canceling people, they've done a bunch of wrong stuff in their lives. They've said a bunch of wrong stuff that may not everyone don't agree. However, it's like you might say something in the masses that may not be the norm, but that's your opinion. So true. I mean, there are going to be other people that are going to be against that opinion, which is fine. But as far as just completely like saying throwing away a person or whatever, it's bullshit, because it's like, again, everyone needs to live and learn from their experiences. And that's how we all become better people as a whole. So if I say something and I speak out of, turn, or I say something that may not be right or even offend someone, right? Let that person get an opportunity to at least, like, if it is wrong and they realize it, to eventually learn, like, oh, okay, well, maybe I shouldn't have said it that way, right? And then now I know, now I'm a better person. Let's move on and allow that person just to live and grow. No one's perfect, right? So we know that everyone makes mistakes. Everybody does wrong stuff. Everyone says bad stuff. If we're going to hold everyone to that same standard, then we're going to live in a nation
walking on eggshells.
We're going to be like a communist nation almost, to an extent. It gets really sticky and tricky there. To where people, and it's so sad to where we're to the point where comedians are afraid to even do their routines, because they're afraid, like, before, the comedian was the person who can say anything in the world. I feel like
they're the last ones.
They can they can say anything about any type of person, any type of culture, any type of demographic, and get away. And it's jokes. It's fun. It's funny. No one gets all offended. But nowadays, it's like you say one little thing, you're gonna get a whole group of people coming after you. When those people are taking our own rights away, or freedoms away from saying anything, and not allowing that, even without a lot of times allowing a person to explain further what they meant behind it. Really seeing if this person really is, whether they said something homophobic or racist, like, find out to the root. They might have said something, doesn't mean they're that. We're so quick to label people, which is a shame, because everyone we're always changing and evolving in general. Yeah. And in order to grow and evolve, we got to go do wrong. We got to get it wrong sometimes, right? And to now we know to learn from that, to grow and to become a better person. So it hinders growth a lot too, as well.
Yeah.
So it's a bad deal.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you. I don't think that people make mistakes. I think mistakes make them, and you have to you have to have that happen before you learn what's right, what garners more attention, what garners more bad attention.
100%.
But right now, man, in this current society, the current culture is you know, I would say majority of the people in this nation, maybe the world, are religious to some extent. Yeah, and they at least believe in a superior being.
Right.
And that is the guy that judges you, but somehow everybody has gained the skill to judge.
And it clearly says in the Bible, we are not to judge.
Which one is it?
God can judge me, right?
Yeah, so which one is it?
100%. I love that. They
So
call themselves Christians.
But, I mean, it doesn't matter what religion it is. I mean, there's a superior being that judges, but now are we all extended arms of that? I mean, how you either who judges? It's like back and forth. There's so much hypocrisy that it's very, very easy when you step back, zoom out, and get an idea of what's going on.
100%.
Very, very easy to see through all of the bullshit.
It's a bunch of, and a lot of it. It's a lot of the internet that has to do with it. It's just these internet people that are on there.
It's what's being fed to you.
And we're not saying don't have an opinion. We're not saying that. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But I think, I know we're in a society now where people can't even express their opinions. That they're holding back on how they really feel. Therefore, we never progress and advance as a nation because we're not allowing people to grow and develop. You know, that person that you're canceling could probably, if we work, figure out and let them grow and give them time, who knows? They could be the answer to some of our problems we're having. You gotta let people develop, and so that's what it's a shame that we're doing that to people. I feel like this. I'm never gonna be canceled.
No.
Because you know why? Just because it's up to you.
It is.
It's how you take it as a person. Like we're talking about. What's his name? The guru, Sad Guru.
Oh yeah.
How and that's something else we could talk about too. Like, how you are as a person. You allow things to affect you. It's up to us. How people reply or respond to you has nothing to do with how you take it or how you process it and how you react to it. We can only control our own selves. So it kind of goes like that. If someone's coming at you for something or saying all these bad things about you, you can look at it. You can choose to feed into it and get upset. And now it's going to affect you mentally, physically, all type of ways, and do a bunch of bad stuff to your body because now you're mad. Or you could just listen to it and have it just, okay, and just have no effect, which is the better route.
Absolutely.
Which I'm still working on. It's
every
progress.
That's every day.
That's where I'm working to get to not letting anything on the outside interfere with my mood, my current personality, and my current mood. But yeah, that's just what it has to be, man. The hell with cancel culture. Canceling.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's
F.
I mean,
let's cancel culture. Let's do that. Can we cancel culture? How about that?
All you have to do is kind of like you were saying, is just pay no attention to it. And you look at guys like Andrew Tate, who have delivered so many messages. Has he said things that are bizarre? So has So I mean, has he said things that are bizarre or outside the norm? Yes, he has. But so has our president and our president before. And
look how many Trump followers Trump is just out of the.
It's crazy,
like left field with stuff.
Yeah, and that doesn't mean that person is any more or less of a person. It's just one stance that they've taken or one thing that they've said. And that doesn't mean that their entire platform is now bullshit. I mean, you can't. I mean, you shouldn't do that as an individual. You shouldn't do that for yourself. You're doing yourself a disservice when you hear one thing and you completely dismiss that person, because that person is going to be more knowledgeable in one area, at least one area of life than you are. They're going to be more knowledgeable than you are. You should be learning from that person, that they are more knowledgeable than you in
a certain area, for sure.
I mean, you can have every problem in the world with Andrew Tate. You can have every problem in the world with Donald Trump, but I guarantee you Donald Trump can structure a real estate deal better than you can. Learn that.
There's always
I guarantee you that Andrew Tate is capable of making money quicker than you are. Learn that. I guarantee you, so there's a bunch of different people in different It don't matter. Trans community,
Right.
Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter what it is. I guarantee you somebody that associates with any one of those groups is going to be better than you in one area in life.
Right. And
get to know that person and learn that.
And the sad part is this is even crazier to me. You got a bunch of people who get upset with people they don't even know, just online, who have different views than them.
That's wild to me.
That is out of it all day, every day.
That's wild.
Democrats versus Republicans, one instance. Just earlier, like I showed you earlier, they're going, there was a post I posted, an interview I posted, and now these people are going back and forth in the comments.
Right.
Just because they have opposing views. But I'm like, dude, how are you yelling and upset with somebody else? Because we're here, in my opinion, to learn from everyone, right? Whether you have the same views, not the same views. If you don't have the same views, there's always something you can listen and learn. And that's the problem. No one takes time to even listen, to give the other side an opportunity to explain why they have those views.
They already have their response built in. They're not even
listening. You go. That's the issue with everything in this society, is that no one listens, for one. Right. No one even realizes why a person is the way they are, because and then usually it stems from their childhood. So listening to a person, how they are raised up, the experiences they went through in life, that's the reason they are the way they are. But without you listening to them and getting a full understanding and really kind of putting your opinions against theirs, like, okay, well, let me look at it that way. Because that, you never know. There's always room for more information to be shared and to learn more information and to grow and take knowledge from someone else. Mm-hmm. And like you said, because the one way a person thinks is not 100% the truth at all. Right. Especially if you're getting it from one source, or you just have your thoughts. You got to listen to a bunch of things and develop your own ideas of what you feel, So it's just yeah, that's just where I'm at with it. Giving people opinions, opportunity. So
yeah, man, it's a tough world to navigate right now. It's like
everyone's afraid. Everybody's walking on eggshells. It seems
eggshells, man.
You don't want to offend, the LGBTQ communities. Like, people can't say anything. You can't talk about Jews. You can't talk about that. It's like, come on. When do we get so? And I understand there is things that we've learned over the years that we probably shouldn't be saying. That could be offensive to people that we never knew before, right? Now that if there is people that have been offended about a certain thing that's been the standard, yeah, let's change it. Let's get it right, because we don't want people to be offended. But on the flip side, if someone's simply expressing an opinion or what they feel, you can have your opinion, but how do you get to the point to where you're just really mad, and now you're hitting a person, you're going off on? It's like, that's kind of crazy to me.
Yeah,
dude. And that's all the mental health parts of everything going on, I think.
I guess I don't know enough about the repercussions. Maybe like the history of consequences mm-hmm. that would come to people who would say things. Maybe that's the reason why society as a whole has tried to step in and be that kind of extended arm of justice, to the point where they gather as a nation or as a community, whatever it is, to cancel somebody.
Sure.
But maybe in the past there were no consequences for somebody saying something. Mm-hmm. Or maybe they felt like there were no consequences. But to me personally, if I got on here on this podcast or got online and posted a video that was just blatantly, trashing males 5, 6 and under, I should be allowed to say that.
They should be trash, bro. I'm just joking. I'm just joking, man.
So I should be allowed to say that, and consequences may or may not come from that, but I guarantee you that my business is going to suffer. Right. Once that gets out, right. People that are 5, 6 and under,
for sure,
males that are 5, 6 and under, why would they want to work with a 100%. Mortgage broker who's got some sort of already stereotypical discrimination? It's going to affect my business, so let it run its course.
Right.
If I got on here and started trashing one race over the other, talking about their culture and how they do business and the food they cook sucks and this and that, mm-hmm. Do you think that I'm going to get any more business?
Right.
Am I going to get is that going to help me at all? Right. Is there any potential benefit there?
No.
Maybe somebody else who also feels that way will give me their business.
Right.
But a large majority of the people that I'm trashing mm-hmm. are going to leave me completely.
Yeah.
So let it run its course. But right now, everybody's kind of stepping in and doing it for the world, I guess. They're doing it for society, and okay, cancel them completely.
Right. And they're making
Just
it
let
more out. No,
Let it run
like,
its
like,
course.
right. Like, and I totally get that for sure. And there's a couple things with, like you said, we can unpack, but my whole thing is that, because definitely believer in God and follow God. So I look at anything someone does that is not in God's, not following the path of Jesus and God, and it's something against that that's not good, it's going to get handled at some point, and it will get dealt with. Like, nothing human that we can do to step in to correct that. You just, like you said, let it run its course. Something's gonna happen, but that's not our job to judge or even to discipline. We can choose to not follow that person, to never do business with them. Cool, fine. It still doesn't give someone the right to bat, to come at you and call you a bunch of names and cut you out. Like I'm more okay. I wouldn't do business with someone who is blatantly racist, but I'm still I would never bash them or that. I'm more to the fact to where I kind of want to understand.
Yeah.
Right. Let's
understand
each other.
Everybody should.
Let's figure out why this person feels that way. What is it about short men?
What happened in your life?
What happened in your life, Mark?
Right.
Like that, were you teased as a kid because you're short? Like, there's some reason for everything. And so once we get to the true reason of
and it could be as
why a
simple as,
person is.
nah, man, I was in middle school and I was the tallest guy on the soccer team, and everybody else was super short. And somehow I was still on the bench, even though I felt like I was better than them. But all the shorter guys were just faster, and it was easier for them to handle the ball. So I just, man, ever since then, I just hate short people. And so it could be as simple as that. But because I did that as a group, now they're like, no. You can't be doing that on. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can say that.
Yeah.
I can say that. It's not going to benefit me at all. It's going to hurt me.
Exactly.
But people don't allow that to happen.
And also, too, now when someone does act that way or says something that's against, the norm, or just something crazy against a certain group, let's understand it. And as we're understanding, we're realizing that person is the issue. It's not no one else. So now it's something we understand, like, okay, this person needs therapy. They need to work on themselves. They have something going on and it's really hurting that person, but let's understand them. Let's try to help them. Let's, you don't have to deal with them. You don't have to watch them, follow them, or any of that. But now that you understand why they are how they are, is there anything, instead of yelling at them, how about figuring out, like, hey, bro, it sounds like, you've had some bad experiences. I said, I'd rather someone say, hey, man, you might want to talk to someone about that and get help, like talk it out, because, sooner or later that person will start realizing, like, maybe these feelings aren't right. Maybe there is something I need to deal with. And, it's something psychologically, mentally inside of them. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with anyone else. But in order to get to that level, you can't be just canceling people out and cutting and just whatever you're doing.
You really can't, man. Yeah, and again, and I'm referring to, what people are speaking, their speech. I am not at all advocating that there should be no consequences for committing crimes.
Oh, 100%.
No. but when we're talking about speech and free speech,
that's all we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about here. So when somebody goes through and drives a vehicle through a parade and kills people, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about, hey, let it run its course. No, that's not. That's not at all. We're talking about
even then,
and being canceled.
To an extent, there's always it's like this. I think everything will be dealt with by God, so just let them do. But of course, on the flip side, something like that, let justice do its thing. Let the cops do their job. Let people do their job.
Absolutely,
it sucks, right? But it's easier to say that until it hits our own family or hits home close, right?
You know what?
Because if it hits close, it's like, it's like we feel we got to handle this.
I don't, dude. I don't. Like, I'll give you a perfect example.
On what it is too.
Just yesterday, my son's, he's a kindergartner. He's in elementary school. We got a text message notification that his school was on lockdown because there was a suspicious person in the field directly across from the elementary school with a gun. So this is Sequoia Elementary, Sanger Unified. This is yesterday.
Wow.
My children's mom was losing it. She was crying on the phone to me. What are we going to do? I live down the street from the school. I could hear the helicopters, and I knew something was going on because there was helicopters going.
Yeah.
she was losing it, man. Like she was like, what is going on? Like, I need to know, why would they send it out and not give us more answers? I'm like, I would rather them not focus on give me answers and focus on handling whatever the fuck is going on over there.
Right.
Okay. I have full faith in I think that our department, our justice department, is fully capable of handling that situation. I believe that they put in way more hours than I do to train and handle a situation like that. So why would I think that I should be in that position instead? If I felt like I was better suited to do that job,
sure,
I should probably go apply.
Right.
You know, so it was, and we're talking about my kid. Maybe somebody was active on the, I was calm, cool, and collected. Okay. I was going to go over there because it was time to pick him up in 30 minutes anyway. If I couldn't get through, I wasn't going to get through. Just going to report back to my child's mom what I can see, when I can see it, you know, while I'm there. But I was not going to rush no barricades. I was not going to, what do I have on me? A handgun, you know, take my rifle out there, something, you know, should I have that on me? Or should I let the people with body armor and with helicopters and drones up in the air see what's going on?
Sure.
And the thing was handled in 30 minutes.
Right. Now, let me just say this.
And that's my child.
I 100% get you.
Calm, cool, and collected.
So I think it's every situation is a little different, right? So let me just say this. I saw, it was the same like a thread at a high school here called Bullard, and we heard that the police responded like there was supposedly an active shooter. Officers were there quick. So Fresno PD, where we are, it seems like they're on top of it. They're not playing around. However, to the people that, unfortunately, everyone who you know, the Uvalde shooting, right? Uvalde, the one in Texas, right?
Texas,
okay. Yeah. So the average person possibly may think, now if that happens and they hear that at their school, because we saw what happened in Uvalde, unfortunately, those cops weren't doing anything, right? And we saw how there were parents who were pushing through. I heard some parent went in and got their kids out and left with, they had a gun. But so that scenario, you know, officers were standing out. They were spending more time pushing the parents away as opposed to being inside with an active shooter. So now those that remember that, if that happens to them somewhere in their city, if that goes in their mind, it's a good chance they're like, you know what? We can't count on these cops to freaking protect our kids. I'm out of here.
You think that was the right move to run in there for your kid?
I'm like this, bro. You can know, truthfully, there's no way to answer that. And here's why. Because that parent that did go run in the Uvalde shooting with the gun, they got their kids out and they were safe. Okay, period. Now,
but it's also possible that they could have got their kid without going in.
Possible, right. But it's also possible that if they didn't go in, their kid could have been a victim.
Right.
We don't know, right? It could have been anything,
including the cops. Nobody knows.
No one knew. And now, in retrospect, after looking at the news and all this stuff that came out later, as far as what the cops did not do, that was the right thing, because obviously those cops weren't even going in. The shooting was happening. They weren't rushing in. They were just sitting back. It was unfortunate. It just seemed like that. It just wasn't a lot of help there, right? So I totally understand the parent side of view. It's just tough, bro. It's just one of those things, man. I don't know if there's how to answer that. I don't know what's right or what's wrong, right? Because, you know, I guess you could just judge by results, I guess, you know, in that situation, that was the right thing. Now, if the parent had went in there and then that parent got shot and killed,
which is, I'm sure, all that was on the police's mind. Because they don't know where, I'm sure, if they were to know where the shooter is at, where the only shooter, they know there's only one, and they know he's in that room. If they had all of that information, I don't understand why any police force would not evacuate every single room other than that one.
Yeah, I know.
If they did not know that, then why would they go in? Why should anybody go in? I mean, who's to know if there's bombs set? I mean, that just.
And honestly,
that's just not safe.
It's not,
but he did it for their children.
That's the thing. So I'm not, for one, I never judge, but that definitely, I mean, however a parent feels at that time in the moment.
Right.
And if they see how the lack of response from police, I mean, hey, you know, just leave it in God's hands and respond based on how you feel, and hopefully it works. You know, it's just, you just don't know, right? It's just, I don't, because I always think about, like, I don't want to think about it, but I'm like, shit.
Oh, you got to.
I don't know what I don't know. I probably would. I don't know. I probably would run it. You know, it just depends, right?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yesterday,
It's
if
one
I'd
of
have been
those-
over there, and I mean, I didn't hear no shots. You know,
Well,
if
right.
I would have heard bang, 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 would I have taken off across that field and ran in
Right.
there? I don't know. I could tell you right now that I would not have, but I don't
Yeah.
know. You know, once you actually hear it, I
Yeah.
know my son's there. That's where the bang, bang, bang came from.
Right.
Maybe I would. Maybe something would come over me
Yeah.
that would just
And-
completely make me forget all logic.
Right.
Because that's not
And-
logical to do at all.
Right. Right.
But maybe that's all. Maybe just bang, bang, bang is all it takes for
And we
me to
don't know.
just lose it and then tunnel vision, make a decision that is purely emotional and run in there.
And you just said it. At the end of the day, bro, I think the very, very truth of this is that no one knows how they will.
Nobody knows
until
dude.
They're in that situation.
Nobody knows.
You can
man.
say you're gonna do this. You can say you're gonna do that.
And on the
when
cop
it
side,
really
train
happens
for
and
it.
it happens,
Never know.
that's when you're gonna know, because you can be the toughest dude. Oh man, I'm gonna go in there, and then if it happens, you might freeze up, right? Or vice versa.
Yeah.
So, God forbid that happens anymore. I mean, that's a whole nother topic we can discuss at another time about all this craziness in the world. Or
that's like one of my
these shootings are out of control.
One of my goals too, man. I've spoken to a couple other guys in the industry on just like on some mastermind stuff, and one of my goals is to reach a level where I can fund a private security for any school districts that want to hire private security. That is they have dedicated officers for you, not like you can pick it up as overtime, or you know, PD is going to send an officer from 11 to 1 on this, and no, the private security for Sanger Unified, private security for Fresno Unified, officers that are directly responsible for the school, and that is it. Nothing else. It's not municipal, so it's not city, it's not Fresno County sheriffs, it's not nothing. It's strictly private security for the schools. There's a ton of hoops that you're gonna have to jump through as far as like California allowing private security. Because I don't think school districts just allow that. I think you have to be like an independent school district right now to allow to be able to like purchase or you know, enter a contract with private security. But that's one of my because I know a lot of officers, and I know a lot of just solid officers that I know would just lay down their life for the greater good,
retired
and
everything.
And one officer will never equate to one child in the eyes of society. And some of these officers know that, and they will 100% run toward gunfire for that child. I know officers like that. I know some that won't, you know, lift a finger. You know, I know that. I know both. But if I were to be able to reach a certain level of success, I would love to implement a program that would enable private security to never leave campus, never have to deal with this again, because that's important to me,
for sure.
You know? So that's how you affect change. I mean, do I run in there when there's gunfire? Do I run across the police line when there's reports of some dude with a gun who it just happened to be a pellet gun and he was shooting birds in his yard? That's what yesterday thing was. But is my most effective change going to be running across the line because my son is there, or leveling up myself to the point where I can put somebody on there to protect my children in the future?
Well, ideally, that's the best.
Ideally, right?
Ideally,
so that I work more towards that than I do toward anything that turns me off of it.
Very true, my friend. Very true. Yeah, I like that. I'd definitely be definitely interested in going in and whatever, helping putting that together, because that's I think needed, get a lot of whatever's needed, bro. I'm a big player on that. So I think let's wrap it up there, bro, because it's getting late. We got a ton of stuff left to talk about.
We sure do.
But we're gonna do it next time. We got some more guests coming, guys.
Absolutely.
Heat speakers, baby.
Stay tuned. More coming.
Part 4. Bigger and better, huh?
Always.
Oh man, let's get it.